Man, Pride Nation fans, you blinked and boom, a bomb just dropped straight out of Detroit. This is Marcus Johnson with you, and what started as a quiet week just turned into a wild roller coaster ride of emotions. First, there was the Glasgow scare that had everyone holding their breath. Then, the potential musical chairs happening in the wide receiver room, and there's also a hot rumor about a veteran coming in to shake up the defense. All this while, one rookie has already won over the crowd with his talent and style. But tell me, is this the beginning of the most insane era of Motor City toughness? But before we dive headfirst into the details, let me ask you for a quick favor. Our mission here is to hit our first major milestone of 1,000 subscribers on the channel, and I need you in on this. If you like real-deal Lions analysis and want to be a true part of the Pride Nation, subscribe now, hit that bell icon, and help me build this project. And check out what's been brewing behind the scenes. Last Thursday, it felt like the ground disappeared beneath us when Glasgow, our pillar on the offensive line, was carted off the field and all of Pride Nation held its breath. Dude, I honestly thought, it's over. The engine of our protection just broke. But then on Saturday came that massive relief. You know, like when you open your eyes and realize the nightmare is over? Glasgow showed up looking good, with a brace on his leg, but walking, smiling, and talking, without that air of tragedy. The word is that the injury is nothing more than a minor tweak, nothing long-term, nothing that will screw up our season. Man, this is huge, because remember that Frank Ragnow retired and Kevin Zeitler went to Tennessee? We were left with just Taylor Decker and Penei Sewell as our elite duo. But in the middle, my man, it's full of rookies trying to prove themselves. Tate Ratledge on the right, Christian Mahogany on the left, two kids holding it down, and who was left in charge of holding the line soul together? Glasgow himself, who had already switched positions to fill the hole. Without him, it would be Kingsley Egwakin or Tristan Colton, two guys no one in Detroit wants carrying that weight right now. So think with me. If Glasgow had been out for months, the entire offensive machine would have been grinding hard, Jared Goff would have felt the heat, and our running game would have fallen apart. But no. The good news is the guy will be back, and soon, keeping the solidity that made our line one of the best in the league last year. And Keaton Sutherland was also released, but that was just a formality. He was already hurt since camp with no real impact on the roster. Now we can't ignore that the NFC is turning into an insane ring, with 13 teams fighting for the playoffs, and we need to be whole if we want to repeat that historic 15-2 season from last year. But it leaves a lingering thought. Is this Glasgow scare the first sign that our luck might turn against us? Because look, no one survives a race to the top without taking a hit, and the margin for error in Motor City toughness is minimal. Comment below, were you relieved or are you still scared that this line might crumble? Because I'm telling you, the next bomb that might drop involves the wide receiver room, and if you don't stick around until the end, you'll miss a twist that could totally change the Lions' offense. You won't believe what they're saying in Detroit, man. Veteran Tim Patrick's name is floating around as a possible trade piece, and that's caught a lot of people off guard. The guy came back last year after 2 seasons lost to serious injuries and delivered consistent production. 33 catches, nearly 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he started in 9 games, including some decisive moments in November and December. He's not just a bit player, he's a veteran who earned respect quickly in the locker room. But get this, youth is eating up all the space. Isaac Ukwa, Dominic Lovett, and even undrafted Jackson Meeks are playing like they want to snatch anyone's spot, showing grit on every single preseason snap. Ukwa already had that beautiful 33-yard TD on the sideline, Meeks led the team in yards against the Texans, and Lovett is standing out in practice. And in the middle of this whirlwind, Bleacher Report dropped a report. Maybe Patrick is on the market. Maybe Detroit will send him to the Bills for a symbolic pick, like a 7th rounder in 2026. My man, this shows 2 things. First, that Dan Campbell and the coaching staff are not messing around. They want space for the rookies to shine right now. Second, the team won't hold on to a player just for his resume. The project is to build a fast, dynamic offense aligned with the future. Of course, it hurts to think about letting go of a guy who proved his value at the end of last season, but the truth is, the wide receiver room is packed. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, Khalif Raymond, who's an ace on returns, and now 3 more kids full of fire. 6 spots already guaranteed. Where does Patrick fit in? You can't just cut him and lose money. You can't stash him on the practice squad, so a trade would be the only way out. And here's the analysis you only hear on this channel. If this gets confirmed, it's a clear message that Detroit is betting big on the group's freshness and chemistry, even if it hurts to see a veteran leave. Pride Nation is already split in the forums. Some say it's unfair, others say it's time to turn the page. I, as a diehard fan, am a little cautious because respect is respect, but I also understand that in Motor City football, you can't pump the brakes on the future. And listen, if that decision is already causing heat, imagine when I tell you what they're whispering in the hallways about the defense. It's a rumor about a veteran Pro Bowler showing up on the radar, and if you don't stick around until the end, you'll miss the most insane piece of information this week. What I heard this morning will keep a lot of people up at night, because a strong possibility is circulating in the Allen Park hallways that the Lions are going after a veteran who could completely change the face of the defense, Shaquille Barrett. Yes, the championship pass rusher, Pro Bowler, with a pedigree of destroying quarterbacks, might be in Detroit's sights if he does in fact become free on the market. And for a team that just lost some heavy hitters, like Frank Ragnow's retirement messing with the emotions and the departure of coordinators on both offense and defense, Barrett's arrival would be almost like a cry for survival. Think with me, man. Kelvin Shepard is starting now as defensive coordinator, John Morton is taking over the offense, the coaching staff is reinventing itself, and Dan Campbell needs someone with an immediate presence, someone who steps on the field and commands respect from the very first snap. Barrett has that in spades. He brings explosiveness. He brings Super Bowl baggage. He brings the kind of energy that fits with Motor City toughness, that idea of never giving up, even when everything seems stacked against you. And the detail you'll only hear here. His contract isn't that heavy anchor anymore. After his cycle ended in Tampa, he's more flexible, fitting into the Lions' budget without having to dismantle the roster. The fan base is already fired up. Pride Nation forums are full of people saying he would be the missing piece to transform this defense into a top-tier unit. I, as a die-hard fan, have to admit that just imagining Barrett in Honolulu Blue gives me chills, because the guy knows how to lead, how to mentor the young guys, and on a line that already has Aiden Hutchinson, it would be a terrifying duo. Now, of course, there's the other side. Bringing in a veteran right now might mean cutting into the development of some kids who are coming in hungry. It could weigh on the locker room if the chemistry isn't right, but that's where Dan Campbell's philosophy comes in. He doesn't just want talent. He wants character, he wants soul, he wants people who buy into the vision of Grit City football. And man, Barrett is that guy. He's a fighter. He's resilient. He has that Detroit iron will look. So it leaves that thought in the back of your mind. If this negotiation moves forward, it completely changes the defense's level, and the entire NFC will have to look at us differently. Now hold on tight, because if that rumor is heavy, the next chapter comes with a party on the field and a rookie stealing the show in a way that even his dance had the crowd going wild. Dude, this is hot information, and it could change everything about how the fans look at the rookies. Isaac Ukwa, our third-round wideout, just exploded in the last preseason game and showed he's not just there to fill a roster spot, he's there to make a statement with style. The kid caught a 33-yard pass from Kyle Allen, a perfect over-the-shoulder catch, gliding down the sideline like a veteran, and once in the end zone, he didn't think twice. He dropped one of those worm dances that would bring any stadium to its feet. Look, I've seen a lot of celebrations at Ford Field, but this one was special because it wasn't just a touchdown. It was the pure joy of someone living the dream of playing for their team. And it's not an isolated thing. Ukwa already had 8 catches, over 100 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and now he's added 41 more yards and another TD, solidifying one of the best camps for a rookie in years. Pride Nation reacted immediately. The forums are packed with people saying, that kid has Motor City toughness DNA, and even veterans on the team said his energy is contagious. You'll only get this take right here. The dance, as simple as it seems, is proof that he's already understood the team's culture, the raw, restored vibe that Dan Campbell hammers home every day. It's not just technical talent, it's a connection with the fans. It's an identity with the jersey. Of course, this puts even more pressure on the decision about Tim Patrick, because the more Ukwa shines, the harder it is to justify keeping a veteran in the spot of a promising kid. But the reality is that Ukwa is writing his own path and could be a key piece to open up the field alongside Amon-Ra and Jamison Williams. Man, you can feel something big is forming when you see a rookie playing loose, confident, and with the courage to have fun in front of everyone. That's pure Motor City resilience. And if the future already seemed promising, now the expectations have tripled, because the Lions' offense might be getting a new explosive weapon, just when the whole league thought we had already shown all our cards. So hold on to that energy, because if Ukwa already won everyone over in August, imagine what's going to happen when October and November roll around and he's deciding big games. So, fan, after everything that happened this week, you can feel that something different is growing in Detroit. The offensive line holding firm with Glasgow, the uncertainty about Patrick, the heavy rumor about Barrett, and the brilliance of Ukwa show that this team is alive, it's pulsating. This is the home of Motor City toughness. This is the real deal voice that won't be silenced. Now I want to know, do you believe this mix of veterans and rookies is the right path to finally restore the roar?